Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys the best editing sensitivity to use in Fortnite. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to pick the best editing sensitivity for you, just some things you should look out for, and doing this is going to help you guys improve your editing speed a ton. So if you guys are just not really sure exactly what sensitivity you guys should be used for editing, definitely stay to the end of the video, because after this video, your editing speed will be so much faster. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys want to take part in this giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys do turn on post notifications so you guys get notified for every single new video and when I announce the winners. And lastly, leave a comment down below of either your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered into the next giveaway. And lastly, make sure you guys do support me in the item shop. All you guys have to do is go down to the bottom right, click on support a creator, type in creator code YoungHumor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to show you guys the best editing sensitivity to use in this game, because there is a lot of different things that you guys should look out for when it comes to choosing the best editing sensitivity. I'm going to show you guys the best one to use. So there's 3 tests that you guys want to do when you're choosing the best editing sensitivity for yourself. So there's 3 things that I see are the most common edits, or the most common things that I feel like is completely dependent on your editing sensitivity. So a lot of the games that you're going to be in, you're going to be box fighting, and a lot of you guys may be playing creative and box fighting against your friends, but there's going to be so many times or situations in game where you're boxed up, or maybe the other player's boxed up, and then the other guy's on your wall. And one of the things that you have to be able to do with your editing sensitivity is going to be editing out the back. But when you're editing out the back or the side, one thing's going to be for sure is that when you're editing out, especially in a situation like this when someone's on your wall, you're going to be right up against the wall that you're editing on, meaning that if you play on a low sensitivity, it's going to be very difficult to be able to do this very quickly and also very efficiently in this game. So when you're choosing your editing sensitivity to use, the first thing that you want to consider and the first thing you want to look out for is being able to go for this edit very quickly and effectively. Now, how fast you should be able to do this, that's really up to you, but that's one of the first things that I look for when I change my sensitivity at all. If I end up changing my sensitivity, or specifically my editing sensitivity, this is going to be the first thing that I'm looking for if I'm able to go for this edit, because if my sensitivity is too low, then this edit is going to be a pain to do. And when you're talking about being in game and people all up against the walls, this is not really an edit you can afford to mess up too much in game. But of course, there is something you can do as well that I highly recommend if you guys haven't already, and that's going to be putting on the auto open doors feature. And when you put this setting on, if you do happen to mess up that edit, it makes a door for you and it's not really that big of a deal. You don't really lose too many momentum, but this is not something you should rely on. This is kind of like an extra thing just in case you mess up. You really just want to focus on having a high enough editing sensitivity to where you're going to be able to go for this edit very easily, and the only way to do that is playing on a high sensitivity. You're not going to be able to do this on a low sensitivity. It's going to be a pain. It's going to be very, very slow, and by chance, if you happen to mess up your edit, you're not going to be able to recover, and it's just going to be a pain to deal with. So that is going to be the first thing that you guys want to look for when you're choosing the best editing sensitivity that's right for you. And also, of course, being able to edit out of the side, and that's the same concept. You're right up against the wall, so being able to go for these edits when you're literally pinned up against the wall is going to be an essential thing to really look out for when you're choosing the best editing sensitivity for you. And if you guys are curious on just the settings that I have, this is what I have for now: a 45% and a 44% for my horizontal and vertical speed, and then for my building and editing sensitivity is both on a 2.5. So if you guys are just curious on exactly what sensitivity that I have, this is when I'm running. And I do tend to play more on the higher end, just because I get third partied a lot in games. And for instance, where I showed there, just being able to make those quick edits along the wall is essential for me, and that's why I do tend to play on the higher end for sensitivity. And you guys don't have to play on that high like a 2.5. You guys can easily play on like a 2.3, but I'm just giving you guys some things to really consider when you're changing your sensitivity that's going to make it the best for you. And so the second edit you want to do, so the first one was going to be if you're pinned up against the wall, being able to make that edit on the ground. And the second one is going to be being able to edit these top corner 3 squares, because this is by far the most effective edit in this game. If you guys do not have this edit mastered, this is something you want to practice over and over again. But the thing with this edit that I've noticed is this is something that you have to have a lot of control to be able to do on controller, because on mouse and keyboard it's so easy, there's no problem at all. But just for whatever reason, this movement for me when I was playing on controller was a little awkward at first. It felt like I had to have a lot more control, or a lot more control than I had. So when you're choosing to edit on this wall, you have to play it on a little bit lower of a sensitivity to be able to edit. Because if you guys play on some ridiculously high sensitivity, like I know some of you guys play on like a 4 or 5x, which is ridiculous. But for those of you guys who play on some sensitivity like that, I don't even know how this edit is even possible. It's very, very difficult to do. So you want to make sure, as I said, the first one being able to have a high enough sensitivity to be able to edit the wall when you're right next to it, but also have a low enough sensitivity to where you're able to hit this edit very consistently, just because this edit mainly focuses on your control with your editing. Because if you're too fast, it's going to be very difficult to control, and you're not going to be able to get this edit off. And this is probably, I would say, the number one most important edit in this game. And if you do not have this edit mastered, you want to practice it. But as I mentioned, it's much easier to do when you're on a lower sensitivity as opposed to higher sensitivity, so you have to make that balance. And so the third and final test that you guys want to do when you're choosing the best editing sensitivity possible, and that is going to be focusing on double edits, and specifically not necessarily double edits. I'm mainly talking about cone edits, because editing cones is very essential in this game, and there's so many different ways in which editing a cone in the wrong way can affect you when it comes to your building, your editing, and also learning new high ground retakes, because there's so many high ground retakes where you have to edit 2 squares of the cone, and if you have a too low of a sensitivity, you're not even going to be able to get that edit off. So making sure you're able to hit double edits when you're going from left to right, like as I show here, and also making sure you're able to hit double edits very easily when you're editing up and down, because that's very important, just because, as I mentioned before, you want to be able to do these edits very quickly, especially if you guys are trying to learn a lot more high ground retakes in this game. It's going to be important that you have a quick enough editing sensitivity to where you're able to pull off these double edits on the cone very quickly. Otherwise, you're not even going to be able to do like 50, or you're not even able to do like 90% of the really cool and really good retakes in this game. And just an example of what I mean here, as you can see when I'm doing this retake here specifically, as you can see, I have to be able to edit the 2 squares on the cone to continue this retake. And if I'm on a low sensitivity, I'm not going to be able to edit both sides of the cone. And this is especially important because when you're going for, say, a different retake, say you're just going for a retake, you're not going to have the perfect balance ever. You're not going to have the perfect setup. So sometimes you're going to have to get off that edit pretty late, meaning that if you do not play on a high editing sensitivity, you are not going to be able to do this retake in game, or when you're having a bad setup, which is something that you want to be able to do retakes on good setups and also bad setups as well. So going back into the 3 things you want to look for, it's going to have a high enough editing sensitivity where you can edit this, or we can go for this edit specifically when you're editing up against the wall. And the second thing, you want to make sure you have a low enough sensitivity to where you're able to control this edit here, because this is the most important edit in the game. And the third thing is going to be when you're editing the cone. So making sure you're able to hit that cone edit when it comes to editing sideways, editing up and down, whatever the case may be, making sure you have this edit on lock is going to be important as well. So those are the 3 things that I specifically look after when I am changing my editing sensitivity. And if the sensitivity that you have are able to do these 3 edits very perfectly, then you're going to be in good shape. I think any other edit in the game could be done on whatever sensitivity, just as long as you make sure you have these 3 edits specifically and you can have them down on the editing sensitivity that you have. So those are just my recommendations when it comes to choosing the best editing sensitivity for you, because it's worked for any players. Some of you guys may be better or be able to do these retakes. Some of you guys might be able to do these edits on a low sense. Some of you guys might be able to do it on a high sense. So obviously it's going to depend on the player. So that's why I want to give you guys the benchmarks and kind of suggestions that I have. So if you're not able to do these 3 edits very efficiently, then you want to change your editing sensitivity in this game. So with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do hit that like button. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Make sure you guys do hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload. And as well, I do live stream every single day here on this channel at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So definitely come by my live streams if you guys haven't already. They're a ton of fun. I play solos every single day. So definitely hit that notification bell so you guys get notified when I go live. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.